Hey, what's going on? Keith from Trigger Happy. You're probably wondering, is this guy seriously going to talk about shoes? And the answer is yes, I am, and there is a good reason for it. Over the past few months, I've kind of talked about some preparedness type things. I did a video on a get home bag, probably have an upcoming one on maybe a go bag or a bug out bag, something like that. But what I find is people tend to overlook the importance of proper footwear in their situation, or in their planning, I should say. We spend a lot of money on gear, we spend a lot of money on packs, on weapons, on ammunition, on all kinds of survival supplies, but I would say that proper footwear is probably as important as any other component in your planning. You don't want to be in a situation where you have to either get home from where you are, and that could be 5 miles, it could be 100 miles, or in another situation where you're leaving where you currently are and going to somewhere else. Maybe there's been a hurricane, there's been flooding, whatever, and you've got to get from point A to point B, and you're going to have to walk. You don't want to walk in a pair of New Balance tennis shoes, although they are comfy. They're not really designed for what we're talking about here, going on various terrains. They're not usually waterproof. Or maybe you're at the office, you keep that get home bag in your car, like a lot of us do. Do you really want to wear your dress shoes to get home in? Absolutely not. So you need to keep proper footwear. So when you're looking for a pair of boots, or I always recommend boots with a lot of support, but what you're looking for is comfort and function, and then various other things, but those two things are the most important, and comfort being number one. You want a shoe that fits properly. So it sounds silly, but I've got family members that have a lot of foot problems, and the reason being is because they wore ill-fitting shoes for years, whether they were too narrow or too wide, too big, too small, whatever. They didn't buy the right size. So you need to maybe go to, it sounds silly, but go have a professional fitting for your shoes. And when I did, I found out that I wore either too big or too narrow. So I had to go with a much wider size and bring it back a half size. And now I find that I can find shoes that fit me so much better, and they're so much more comfortable. When we're talking about comfort, again, you want something lightweight. This is a pair of Keens. These are very lightweight boots. They're more of a hiker or a day hiker. This is not a backpacking boot per se, because they've got a fairly flexible sole to them, but they've got plenty of traction, and they are very lightweight. These are waterproof. These use Keen's proprietary waterproofing called Keen Dry. No, I don't think I'd want to submerge my foot. There's a lot of mesh here. I don't think I'd want to have my foot submerged for a period of time, but walking through damp grass or whatever, I think they're going to work pretty well. And these are a very comfortable boot. Wide toe box for me, I like that. Maybe my old standby here. Here's an old pair of Rockies. These are Gore-Tex. You can see these things are in rough shape. They're probably about 12 years old. They're non-insulated. I have worn these for years. They're extremely comfortable. They're a little heavier than, say, the Keens sitting here. But they've been very resilient. They need a good cleaning, but I wear them every day for chores and different things outside, so who really cares? But these are super comfortable, and that's why I keep them around. I've bought so many other boots to replace them over the years, and nothing beats the comfort of these shoes. You'll notice these are, again, a mid-height, so they provide some ankle support. So if you're going to be walking long distances, that's what you want, is something that's going to support the ankle here. And a good example of something that I've bought that's ill-fitting, here's another pair of Rockies. I got to say, Rocky quality has really went down over the years. From this, 12 years ago to this about 2 years ago. Rocky's kind of changed to be a mass market boot as opposed to a specialized maker. And when you go mass market, everything suffers. Their production goes to, these are Chinese, which we all know how I feel about that. These are so uncomfortable, it's not even funny. When I tried them on, they felt great. But go for a walk in them for any distance and they absolutely kill your feet. So you find that shoes have what I would call hot spots, and the hot spot on these particular shoes is right here on the outside of my foot. They hurt so bad, they pinch, they rub, they wear, they're terrible, and I wouldn't take these any place for any period of time. The only reason I keep them around is they're insulated for winter time. So you can see here for a shoe I've had for 2 years, they look almost new. They're worthless for the most part. The boot that I've kind of selected to maybe replace them, and I don't have a lot of miles on these, that's for sure, is a pair of Loa Renegades. These happen to be glove leather lined. They are super comfortable, very soft leather on the inside. You don't see that very often. These are a fairly expensive shoe, run you about $200, sometimes more. I've seen them at places like REI for $230. They make a Gore-Tex model of this Renegade. Again, this is the leather line. But what I'll do with a new pair of boots like this, to break them in, I will take these with me to the office and change out of my dress shoes if I'm going to be in the office all day. And I'll put these on and wear them around for a few weeks and just at the office and see how they're going to fit. Is there any of those problem spots that come up? Are there any places that are really going to be bothersome and cause me problems, and then I can maybe either address that or move on to another shoe. A lot of places, if you buy a pair of boots and you don't wear them outside, you'll have a few weeks to return them. So again, that's why I like to wear them to the office. These have been only worn on carpet, so you can see they look, you know, brand new. But if you take them outside, you're not going to be able to return them to wherever you bought. So keep that in mind. You know, so it seems silly to think that so many people overlook this critical thing in their system, and that is what we have, is a system. All pieces have to work together. If you don't have the proper pack, you're going to not be able to take the proper gear with you. If you don't have the proper shoes, you're not going to be able to make a lot of time per day. I mean, you're not going to want to walk, you know, 15 miles a day in a pair of ill-fitting shoes. So put some time, put some effort, go have a professional size your feet and find out exactly what you need, and then be prepared to spend some money. You know, there's several $100s on this table in 4 pairs of shoes. I mean, probably, you know, these are $150 shoe boots. The Rockies I've spent who knows what on. But be prepared. You don't want, you know, the big box store brand out there that's really just made for light duty or light wear. Another thing to keep in mind lastly is if you work in a factory or someplace that requires composite or steel toe, that is absolutely not what you want in a hiking or you know, boot for this type of system. So if you think that pair of Red Wings or Wolverines is going to be appropriate for what we're talking about here, trust me, that's not what you want. Red Wings are fantastic boots, and you can get them without the steel toe or composite toe. So if you like that brand, go that route, but pass on those type of features on them. So thanks. I hope this provides a little insight. If you're somebody that hasn't given much thought to footwear, I really seriously know it sounds silly, but do yourself a favor. We're all trying to you know, give each other a few pointers and things, and I like when people comment on my videos about things that I forgot or have overlooked, and this is one that I think a lot of people have really let slide. So thanks again, Keith from Trigger Happy. We'll see you next time.